you got to always imagine like there's a person in front of you. If it's the bag, if it's a speed ball, if it's the floor to ceiling ball, if you're shadowboxing, there's always somebody there. People watch me at the gym and they're like, what the hell is this guy doing? Who's he talking to? I talk, yeah, who's he talking to? Oh, come on, that's it, let's go. Like, and these guys are watching me like, this guy's off his head. What drugs you on, you know?
Today we are lucky enough to be joined by professional boxer and all-round great guy, Joel Camilleri. Thanks, mate.
Thanks for having me, guys.
For sure. Obviously, we're in Thailand right now. You're living and training over here at the moment. Is this your first time doing that?
Yeah, my first time in Thailand. I've been away before to Vegas twice for camps, but honestly, you're loving it.
And just for the, I guess for the audience, a bit of a backstory for those who don't know. Give us a bit of an idea. We'll go back to the start. How you got into boxing in the first place. Now I know you actually started doing Muay Thai, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah.
But just let us know how you how it started. How did your journey come about, I suppose?
Growing up, I was always real kind of tough kid, you know. Like loved fighting, loved taking punches, and I played a few team sports, and I hated losing. No matter what it was, I hated losing. And you know, I was a goalkeeper in soccer. We'd lose, I'd get the blame, he'd get the blame, and I think it started, we used to just fight in the garage with boxing gloves with my mates, and then like other schools would come to my house, we'd have a kebab, then we'd fight, and like one guy seen me, he goes, man, you're too tough. He goes, come down to the gym. I'm like, what gym? He's like, oh, Team Ultimate in Sunshine, which is a Muay Thai gym. I was a 15-year-old kid, a bit excited. I went down there and man, just fell in love with the fight sport.
What is it like transitioning from Muay Thai to boxing, and how, like, I know there's obvious differences, but for you, how did you find it, and what's the most obvious difference, I guess?
It's very different. It's a completely different sport. When I walked into a boxing gym, I thought I was a good fighter. You know, I went in there with my Muay Thai singlet, my guard like this. I thought I was big, you know. I walked in there and then the guy goes, okay, mate, you want to spar? I'm like, yeah, sweet. He was like, Bo Gehring's, rest in peace. He passed away at 94. I went into the ring and I sparred this boxer. And I had my Muay Thai real slow paced kind of guard and whatever. And he just bashed me, man. He just landed about 50 punches per round. I walked out of the ring and I remember the trainer turning to me and saying, I thought you said you could fight. And when he said that, I mean, I'm coming back, and I kept going back, and I went back for years, and 17 years later, I'm still boxing.
So coming to Tiger Muay Thai, right, and training somewhere where there is, you know, so many Muay Thai fighters, so many MMA fighters, so many kickboxers, how do you think that like Western style boxing actually fits into modern MMA? Do you think it's something that is like underutilized, or do you think it's something that is becoming more popular, or like what have you seen at Tiger?
Yeah, I think it's very important because with boxing, we're really good at controlling distance. So I've been training some people here, you know, one-on-one in classes, and when I train MMA fighters, I allow them to take me down to make it a bit fair. So once I'm down, we got to stand up. I haven't been down just yet, but like the thing is, it's about controlling distance. So when they shoot in, using your hands. So I believe that adding boxing training to your MMA training, which usually you should do, and then your Muay Thai as well, it's going to help. You know, if you can take 10% of the boxing movements and footwork and hand-to-eye coordination into your MMA, into your Muay Thai, I think it gives you a big advantage.
Yeah, and we're seeing fighters like, I think he actually trains at Tiger, but Peter Yan is one of those fighters that has like a really great and solid boxing fundamental base, and you can tell when he fights, even though it's MMA and he throws kicks and he's, you know, mixing in the grappling, he has a great foundation, and like you can tell that that's actually quite, it's working for him, obviously, right? It works when you know how to actually mix it into MMA.
Yeah, well, like. Peter, I actually sparred Peter Yan a couple of weeks back, but he actually told me that he started as a boxer.
Yeah.
So he started as a boxer, then he moved to MMA or whatever. He's got very good hands in close, and he throws with some venom on his punches as well. And I think it's a massive advantage to have the big hands. A lot of Muay Thai guys, got a high guard. They're real susceptible to get hit to the body. So when I'm sparring these dudes, you tap them to the body, a lot of them actually turn to me and say, "No, don't hit me to the body." Which it amazes me, like, man, like you're gonna get hit to the body, you cop knees, you cop kicks, you cop that. But when you throw a nice punch like a boxer, when we sit in our punches and hit them to the body, they don't like it.
Okay.
So imagine you can add that into your Muay Thai where you're feinting and then you just throw a nice body shot. it's going to give you a massive advantage.
Have you seen, you know, any other sort of examples of, I guess, of MMA fighters that, I guess, would have a good boxing fundamental, or have you been working with any when you're at Tiger?
Well, there's another fighter as well, Ilham, and what I find is he's got that real just awkward movement. Uses his hands, he moves really well, but it's so unorthodox. I find they're the hardest to deal with. Like, he's not a straight boxer, but he landed more punches on me in that sparring than I've probably copped from any boxer. It was 5-minute rounds though. Like, I sparred Peter around, and Ilham jumped in. We done 5 more minutes, and it's just so different the 5-minute rounds. But yeah, Ilham's a real good boxer, and I just sparred some Muay Thai guy, a lot of Iranians here, and man, when their movement, they go from orthodox to southpaw. A lot of MMA fighters do that, and that's where it's real tricky to pick up their movements.
Yeah.
This is obviously probably a tricky one to answer, but who do you think, if you look back on your career, maybe even sparring, but who has been, if you could name one, the most awkward like style to fight?
Shout out to Dennis Hogan, just won the WBA World Title. When me and him spar, it's literally, if he lands 2 shots, in my head I'm like, how am I going to get these back for the whole round? He just moves and taps, and he's off rhythm. And then when I land the 3-4 shots, because I'm very awkward as well, like we just move weirdly. So I think Dennis Hogan, out of everyone, he's got that style where it's like, man, how am I going to hit him? And it's about using your mind. So yeah, I'd have to say him for sure, yeah.
And that was nice to see him get the belt, wasn't it?
Yeah, like many were doubting him because after the Tim Tszyu fight, he broke his nose as well before that Tim Tszyu fight. And Tim Tszyu's another killer of fish. He's got good body shots, that's for sure. And Dennis came back, and man, he surprised some people, but a lot who know him, you never go against Dennis, man. He's got that style that can trouble anyone in the world.
And speaking of Tim Tszyu, obviously I've been following you on Instagram, seeing what you've been up to, and I noticed that you've been training with him and I guess hanging out. Were you guys mates after you fought, or is that something that happened later on? Because obviously being a former opponent, that doesn't always happen. So how did that kind of come about?
Yeah, me and Tim are good friends now. So we've got a mutual friend, Khalil. He owns a killer boxing brand. And I met him in Vegas in 2018. And he said, oh, I've got this kid at the gym, Tim, he's going to be good, whatever. Like, I want to fight him. He goes, okay, he's good. I'm like, I want to fight him. A year later, I fought him. So he knew of me, I knew of him through our mate. And then after we fought, we caught up. And just from there, we just became closer. We sparred quite a few rounds, and yeah, we just became friends, and we worked together a lot. It's just good to find people who are on the same kind of path as you. The Russian mentality is real, just like there's no emotion, it's just get the job done any way you can.
It's very stoic, isn't it? It's very like, you know.
When I fought him, it was like, in my head, I'm like, I'm going to break this guy down. I don't care what he's doing the first few rounds. I'm going to keep breaking him. Eventually he's going to crack, but you'd hit him. He got cut in the second round, I think it was, when we fought, but he just didn't like change, no expression. Just kept on, off, and it's just that composure that I admired, man. So yeah, that's what's good about Tim, yeah.
Yeah, I love to see it. I think it's always nice when you see, you know, former opponents actually kind of forming a friendship, and then utilizing something that obviously was something that was creating animosity originally. When you'd be opponents, there'd be that kind of natural animosity, but then, you know, using that to actually, I guess, both learn from, you know, because. Yeah. Otherwise, you know, it's kind of like you can learn a lot, right, from that situation.
We're all confident people. Well, not everyone, but we've got that mentality that's like, we're fighters for a reason. It's that real pride, kind of ego kind of thing. And so before the fight, there's the back and forth, the talk to that. Tim doesn't do much talk. I said a few things, and he was saying to my mate, well, why is Joel talking like that for? You know, he's actually a nice guy. Why is he being like that for? You know, and like, it's about just selling the fight to the people. We don't actually hate each other. I don't think I've ever hated one of my opponents at all in the ring, you know, but we're not going to go hug and shake hands and smile at each other and have, you know.
No one wants to see that before a fight, because obviously no one's going to want to watch it, you know what I mean?
Exactly right.
So I've coached people in the past, not in boxing, put that out there.
Yeah.
Jiu-jitsu, Muay Thai, bit of MMA specific stuff, cage work, wrestling, etc. How did you get into actually becoming a coach as an Aussie in Thailand, and would you recommend it?
I want to ask you a question. what was my job during boxing and before boxing? Oh, during boxing actually. What's my?
I know it.
You know what? Wait, don't answer for him. All right, so I'm going to ask you what's
I haven't done my homework.
All right, so you don't know? I'm a school teacher by trade, man.
Okay.
So I've always loved just teaching people and being, teaching a group, educating people. I used to take boxing classes and that. Then I became a teacher, and I love coaching people. When I see people doing things wrong, there's a certain way you gotta approach a fighter.
Yeah.
You can't go up to him and say, "This and that's wrong, man. You gotta do it this way."
Yeah.
You gotta go up, "Hey, man, how do you throw your hook?" "Okay, yeah, sweet. This is how I do it, man." I kind of like communicating, like socializing. And I thought, I love boxing. You put it together, you're a coach.
Do you think that coaching gives you something in terms of your own training that you can't get from training? Do you think teaching actually makes you a better fighter?
100%. I stopped doing PTs and stuff in Brisbane and Melbourne because I wanted to concentrate on my own fighting. But now that I'm back to training people here at Tiger, I'm like, man, I'm learning things by teaching them, because I'm like, they're making the same mistakes I'm making. And I'm seeing it by them doing it. When you're in the ring, you don't really see what mistakes you make unless you film it. So I'm always on. And then you got these people who today I was sparring, and I can see these people's eyes watching me I can't mess up, man. I'm teaching them how to fight, and then I'm sparring guys that I'm teaching.
Yeah.
I can't let them beat me up. So you know what I mean?
That's definitely one of the worst parts when I've been training people in the past. It's you don't want to get beaten by them, but you also don't want to bash them because they're there trying to learn. So it's I've always found it's a really fine balance.
Yeah.
It's one of those subjects that goes back and forth. People agree, people disagree, and it's with coaches and their experience in the ring. Not all fighters are good coaches.
No.
Not all coaches are good fighters.
Yeah.
And there's a big thing. I've never seen ego, or I'm stubborn. But if someone's telling me to do something, I want to know they've done it. And my example is, man, a female who's had a kid knows how it is to have a kid and be pregnant. You know what I mean? To go through pregnancy. You can't explain to them how it's going to feel if you're a guy. So same as boxing, man. I got trainers, keep your hands up, man. Why are your hands down? Oh, man, your left hand, keep it up. You jump in the ring for 10 rounds, keep your hands up. But then if I have a trainer who's done it before, first of all, they're not going to tell me to keep my hands up for 10 rounds. They're going to say, when your hands drop, do it this way. And that's how I train people. Because everyone always teaches the perfect punch, the perfect slip, the perfect counter, the perfect movement. They never teach when it's not perfect what to do then.
Yeah.
You understand? So, yeah, that's my thing now. I want to learn from somebody who's done it before themselves.
It's interesting you say that. I was actually watching this morning over a foot massage, because that's what you do in Thailand. Everything you do, you just get a foot massage while you're doing it. That's the best part about it. But I was watching an interview that you did, or a podcast with I think an Australian-based boxing podcast.
Yeah.
And you actually talked about in that, when you shadow box and when you visualize, that you visualize things going wrong. And a lot of people, what they do when they shadow box is they're imagining landing every shot and being in the zone and fucking, and you said it's really important to actually imagine what happens when it's not going right.
Yeah, because how often do you spar? You spar twice a week max when you're in fight camp. Some do 3. But you're meant to train and work your technique almost every single day when you're training, yeah? So when you're on the bag or when you're shadow boxing and you're trying to do something, like on the bag, people hit the bag and they don't move. You got to always imagine the person in front of you. If it's the bag, if it's a speed ball, if it's the floor to ceiling ball, if you're shadow boxing, there's always somebody there. People watch me at the gym and they're like, what the hell is this guy doing? Who's he talking to? I talk, yeah? Who's he talking to? Oh, come on, that's it, let's go. And these guys are watching me this guy's off his head. What drugs you on, But it's just, everything I do is real. I wear a mouth guard when I'm hitting the bag. I wear a mouth guard when I'm shadow boxing, because I want to know how it is to breathe when I'm tired. I hug the person, I talk to them, I breathe in their ear. I turn them I turn the bag like it's a person. Everything's real.
So you're even practicing kind of talking to your opponent while you're shadowboxing as well.
Yeah, man.
That's wild. That's awesome.
Think about it. If I said to you, all right, for the next year, I want you to step to your right 15 times a day and step to your left once a day. When it comes under pressure, you're going to step to your right most likely, yeah? There's one in 16 kind of chance, or 1 in 15 chance you're going to step to your right. So it's the same as that. So when I'm in the ring, shadowboxing, and I'm talking, in the fight, I'm going to talk as well. If I'm fainting in shadowboxing, I'm going to faint in a fight, you know? So every time you train, you want to treat it like it's a fight.
Yeah, that's awesome. I'm going to give that a go at the gym. See how it's going to sound. People are going,
Start talking.
yeah, Joel told me how to talk to people.
That's what I do, bro.
I'm going to take that home. Do you got another one or do you want me to do one?
Yeah, no. It's nice to see somebody else with such a beautiful nose. How did you obtain that beauty?
Mate, it's a long story. No, I broke when I was 4, man. I actually,
really?
someone came over and I was excited, so I ran outside, I fell and I hit my nose on the road and I broke it. And then you got to wait till you're 17 or older to get it fixed. So I had it fixed when I was 17. It gave me a lump. And then the guy named Jake Carr, former boxer, he threw a left hook and broke my nose. And ever since, it just keeps going that way, man. Every time I go to a surgeon, are you going to keep boxing? Yeah, okay, come back when you retire. That's it, you know?
Yeah, because I imagine it's like, I think you said this, but I imagine there'd be no worse feeling than getting the surgery, getting everything fixed, you know, all nice, and then just fucking having it shuttered again.
If I punch you in the nose right now, your eyes are going to water. Your
Yeah.
nose most likely going to bleed. You punch me in the nose, it's just going to go red. I don't, so it goes red, but I can...
You punch James in the
that?
nose, you'll cry.
My nose is so it's like a fucking triangle. My nose is way
Yeah, it goes red, but I don't feel it, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, but, yeah, it's a lot of punches, man. And everyone always says, man, I'll throw a right hand and I'll put it back into place for you.
Oh,
I've been waiting like 16 years,
the amount
49
of times I
fights.
hear that shit, it's like, oh, I'll put it back into place for you.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
oh, fuck, I haven't heard that one before.
Exactly right. But I think it's the best thing about the nose is a conversation starter, you know? Even when I meet a girl and that, like, they look at you, oh, what happened to your nose, you know what I mean? Then it gets started, you know?
I think it's a bit like the wrestler's ears, you know?
Yeah.
It's kind of like one of those things that, like, I think I was saying this last night, it's kind of one of those things that people that don't have it are kind of like, it's a bit jealous, you know what I mean? Because everyone knows you, like, you're a mad, like, everyone's like, oh, that guy knows what he's doing.
I'd rather have a broken nose than those ears, though, man. They're hard to fix, those things. Yours are right, yeah?
They just stick out a bit. There's a little bit of cauliflower, but it's not
too bad.
bad.
You're
But
not jiu-jitsu, it's more wrestling, right?
yeah, but I played rugby for 15 years as well.
Yeah, true.
So I don't know. Some people don't get it. They aren't
Yeah.
like susceptible to it. And I've got such little baby little ears that maybe that's a blessing for that as
That's
well.
I saw on your Instagram an interesting post which I thought was cool and worth talking about. So you posted, I believe it was a photo of Nate Diaz, and you said that you were talking about in MMA, there's people that are very popular and it's quite common for people to have not perfect records, right? And they're very but in boxing, it's different.
The thing about boxing is like you're building your record, but you're also building your career. So the more you win, the better rating you get, the more money you get. Then you lose a fight and you're back here again. I don't know, like I've lost 8 fights out of 33 fights, I think it is. Yeah, 24-8-1. Yeah. And the thing is, like, I'm like, I've fought the best. I've given all of them trouble. I believe I can beat him on my best day. I was 14 in the world WBA. And then he lose a fight. So I think Joel's done. But these same guys before the fight were saying how good I was and, oh, man, he's good, man, watch him fight. After the fight, they're on podcasts and stuff, on video saying, yeah, I think Joel's aged overnight. And then, like, watch when I win my next fight, oh, Joel's my mate, he's the best fighter in the world. So I think I'm trying to get rid of that stigma.
Yeah.
I'm gonna win a world title and they're gonna be like, oh, I knew he would have done that. Where they're saying people told me to retire that many years ago, you know?
I think that's yeah, exactly. You heard it here first. I think I think for a start, it's a great mindset to have, and I think it's interesting you say like it's because of Mayweather. But the thing is, that style. Don't get me wrong. Mayweather is obviously a phenomenal boxer, but it's a different. Like generally speaking, it's a very defensive style. It's a different style, right? And not everyone's going to fight like that. And like that's I think part of the reason why some of these MMA guys like the Nate Diaz's, right, are so popular, even though they've had losses because of their style. It's fun, win, lose or draw, and they give it their all and they actually go and fight. And I mean, look, I'm not taking anything away from Mayweather, but there have been fights where he is almost purely defensive, right? And I understand that's boxing.
Yeah.
I get that that's boxing, but I mean, not everyone fights with that style, right? And that's the reality.
People want, it's a weird one. People want an undefeated fighter, but then they want entertaining fights. But then if you're winning fights being defensively, they don't like it. Man, only the true boxing people who know boxing respect Mayweather's style and how well he did. Like, he made Canelo look silly. When he fought Canelo, he made him look silly. Like, so I don't think it's just Mayweather that's caused this like stigma, but like, I don't know, man. It's just crazy how quick people can jump off a bandwagon in any sport, man. So I'm the kind of person that's I've been told to retire that many times, but then after I've won titles. told to retire again after a loss. Now I'm in Thailand, and look what's happening, man. You know, I'm gonna get a job at Tiger. I'm gonna be living here. It's all this is happening. You know what I mean? And people are messaging me, hey man, how do I do this? The same people who are calling me shit. Honestly, man, what I think, it's sad to say, because I'm an advocate for mental health. I've been around schools. When I was a school teacher, I had CamaKO Believe in Yourself, where I talked about mental health and how to handle the real world, you know, and it's just sad how insecure some people are. Those people who are really giving it to you or giving it to me online and saying how shit I am, it's because of it's about them. It tells me more about them than myself, you know. They're very insecure in themselves, so they're abusing me.
Yeah, you know they've just finished their 4th can of mother and they're typing for a Cheeto dust in their mum's basement.
A bit of vodka or a joint, yeah, that's how they are.
Yeah, but they kill it on UFC on PlayStation 4. That's always the way though, isn't it? Right?
Yeah.
I mean, like it's got to be like the majority of. It's a tough one, right? Because the fans, obviously, not all the fans are going to be fighters. That's fine, but at the same time, you've got these people who don't know what they're talking about. Basically, you know, like giving opinions on things that they really won't ever truly understand, right?
You got to learn. I've been pro for 10 years now, since 2012, and the thing is, I've learned how to respond to these comments. Before I used to be like real, just fire back straight away. But I've learned how to respond with love hearts and kisses and like, thanks, yeah, I really appreciate you.
I don't know what to do when people respond like that.
Yeah.
Like, they want to have an argument, and I've seen people do that. Once you just go, oh, you know, thanks, I love you, they just go, oh, it's weird.
Yeah, they don't have to do. They want a response. They want to get you angry. I don't get angry no more. Like, what I say to them, listen, man, thanks for the comments, but when I win my next fight, then make sure you jump on the bandwagon again. That's it.
So, James and I were going through your Instagram over the last couple of days. We saw what seems to be a pretty recent KO of a Thai guy, it looks like.
Yeah.
It's the frame rate couldn't catch the fastest 1-2 I've ever seen in my life.
That was fucking wild. We watched it about 10 times last night. Because we were listening to music on the little Bluetooth speaker, and I didn't realize that was still plugged in. The fucking sound of that was just like...
that noise, yeah.
When you slow it down, you can actually see it breaking the sound barrier.
Yeah.
You know, when you see it on planes and it has that ripple effect.
Yeah.
Man, that is, like, you slow it down and you still can't actually.
Yeah, man.
You still can't catch it.
I just threw it. It's one of those things. So I organised a fight in Bangkok. I saw these guys fighting at the stadium, whatever else and that. So I organised a fight, fighting this guy. A lot of Muay Thai fights. He'd only had a few boxing fights, and then he kept jumping in with his head. I'm like, oh, if I get cut, there goes my trip of sparring. I can't spar. So next time he jumps in, I'm going to throw the right hand, and that's what happened. And you see me, like, as he throws, I'm like that. I kind of turn, I throw it, and I land my shot. It was more just trying to avoid getting headbutted. And yeah, I looked at him and he didn't look too well, man.
Nah, it's one of those things I think with
I chucked him $1,000 after it though to say thanks, sorry, man.
I think
Here's $40. Thanks.
Yeah, bad, yeah. He was wrapped though.
Yeah, fully.
That's one of those KOs where like I feel like it's a thing of beauty, but it's also I guess any combat sport, right? It's simultaneously beautiful and also a bit kind of like, as you said, like it didn't look well, but it's like that's the name of the game, right? But it was like that's one of those KOs where you go, fuck, that was
yeah, I was like,
one.
that was nice, but I didn't celebrate it. I feel like that was nice in my head. That was perfect, you know. But then after, he's like sitting down with his missus and she's icing him, and I'm like, this is fucking sad, man.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Just to like before we wrap things up, and this might be a bit corny, but I think it's kind of important. What advice would you give to people who are, I guess, to younger fighters? What's the most important thing you could like pass on to someone, I guess?
My advice is to believe in yourself, to know where you can go, keep believing, and don't listen to the naysayers and negative people, man. The only time you should get offended by what someone says is if you actually believe it yourself. So build that mind, build that mentality, and you can do anything you put your mind to, man, pretty much.
Yeah, 100%.
I think that's really important. That's an awesome message.
All right, well, thanks so much for your time, and I reckon we should get you back on once you've won the world title, and then we can play that clip and be like, I heard it here first.
There we go. Well, thanks for having me, and it's time for some pad thai, bro.
100%.
Yeah.
Let's go.
Smash
There
it.
you go. Thanks a lot. Cheers, man.
Thank you, man.
Appreciate it.
Thank you, bro.